Hey guys, time for another episode of Morning Coffee and Marketing. And once again, as promised, I don't know, I guess last week, we are going to talk about a little bit about marketing, but we're also talking about things. Oops, somebody just messaged me. Okay, whatever. We're also going to talk about things that are a little outside of the realm of marketing right now. And in particular, people are freaking out because of the bear market. Because the bottom has fallen out of the stock market. We're officially in a bear market, and people are worried and scared. They're worried because they are too young to have remembered 1999, too young to have remembered 2007, 2008, at least too young from a business perspective. I don't mean too young from an actual living perspective, but from a business perspective, they're too young to have remembered these times. They're too young to realize that this is what happens. Now, yes, it's going to be bad. It's going to be tough because the Fed has fucked around with the economy, and the politicians have fucked around with the economy so long they have not allowed it to get better. So think of it like this. You have the flu and you keep taking Tylenol and Theraflu to suppress your immune systems. But the problem is that the immune response, which is what makes you feel like dog shit, is exactly what kills the germs that cause the flu. So now by suppressing the immune response system, you're actually making the flu worse, even though you feel better in the moment. So that's kind of what the Fed policies have done, and what the and what the politicians have done for the last several years, actually for the last 20 years, or really arguably for the last 40 years. But that's neither here nor there. Here's the point. The first real money I ever made, I made in... Oh, we were off. We were out of there for a second. The first real money I ever made, I made just after 2008. Hey, what's up, Ron? I made just after 2008. And it was a direct result of the economic crash. So why was it a direct result of the economic crash? Because so many people gave up. So I was the only one left in my field to keep working. Not only that, but not only was my competition falling away, but yes, some demand came down from consumers. There was a reduction in demand. However, the reduction in demand was not as quick as the reduction in competition. So in other words, there was a slightly smaller pie, but there were so many less people trying to get a piece of that pie that there was more for each person. And on top of that, I'm a fucking insanely good marketer, so I was taking an inordinate slice of the pie. As a matter of fact, when I opened up a company in the same town as another guy who was some of my competition, about 4 months after his house went into foreclosure. I certainly would not wish that on anybody, but in the jungle of business, it's eat or be eaten. So he got it. Anyway, I want to reassure you. Look, if you're in the marketing business, if you're in any kind of business, really, the info business can be tough, but not impossible. But if you're in a bricks and mortar business, or if you're in the marketing business, if you're in the marketing services business, then don't fret. You should be getting excited. You should be getting revved up. This is a time when we are going to make a lot of money as long as you stick with it and keep working. You are going to have to work a little harder. Money's not flowing uphill. Credit's not as easy. But let me see. Yep, Steve, exactly true. Less competitors, plus most of them foolishly cut their advertising and marketing down during this time. Exactly. So what we're looking for as marketing service providers are the few people who are not cutting their advertising down, who understand that they need to ramp it up. And as just a business, just a regular business, a business owner, whether you're an online business owner or whether you are a bricks and mortar business owner, this is the time that you want to start ramping up your marketing efforts and really, kicking those into turbo, so to speak. So, but I did want to give you a couple of hints on how to structure your business so that you can maximize your maximize your profits and your business growth, because it is time for insane business growth. As this bear market and the what is most likely going to be an economic crash continues over the next several, then sorry about that, I had a call come in. As that happens over the next several months or a year, then what'll happen is as the economy starts picking back up, there's still not going to be competition. You're going to be able to go in and grab huge amounts. Not only will you be able to increase sales and increase profitability through the rough times with some hard work and some smart work, but then as things start getting better, you're going to be able to just crush it. You're going to be able to just really exponential growth kind of stuff. So, all right, that said, a couple of hints on getting through the tough times and while you're still growing. Number one, try and figure out a way that you can have a third party pay for your services for your clients. So if you're in a bricks and mortar business, how can you associate your work? So for example, contracting. If you're in a contracting business, figure out how you can start doing more insurance work, how you can seek out people and help them file claims and get their insurance going with their insurance company. If you're a medical provider, obviously, medical insurance is the way to go. If you're not in those kind of businesses, but you're in a high ticket business of some type, then figure out how you can help your clients or prospects finance their work. So then by financing it, you're having the third party pay for it up front, the finance company, but then especially if you're in the marketing or money making business now, the pitch is that it's not going to actually cost you anything because the third company is going to pay for it, and then you're going to pay them back out of increased revenue and profits that you get from working with me. Make sense? I hope so. So number one, see if you can get a third party to pay for what you're doing. If you can't get a third party to pay for what you're doing, then see if you can get some company to help you with financing so that there's a third party that pays for what you're doing, but then the payback is slowly more comfortable, pushed off. People are always looking for right in front of their face. So if you can have someone, look, you don't have to make any payments for 6 months. Oh, well, 6 months is a lifetime away. We don't even worry about that. The other part is third parties who can help offset some of your expenses. So what kind of large companies can you get to sponsor your events, to sponsor your online events, to sponsor you to your customers, clients, patients, however that may work. So how can you get a third party to then sponsor you so that they're paying the money to put you in front of your people so that you can sell to your people? Or maybe even get them to pay, like I said, to pay for the event up front. So you get the third party to pay to cover the entire cost of the event, and then the people who and then you deliver your you give your deliverables to your clients or prospects or patients or customers or whatever you call them in your business. Then you give them the value that you would normally give them, but you're having a third party pay for that. So there's all kinds of ways of doing it, but right now, and look, if you can't do any of that, first, bullshit. But second, let's assume for a second that you can't do any of it. It doesn't mean that you're up shit's creek. It just means that you got to work a little harder. You got to work a little harder to figure out where your clients are coming from. You got to work a little harder to go out and drum up business. You got to be willing to spend a little bit more per lead and per sale. Your follow-up, increase your follow-up, get your follow-up in place. Most people don't have their follow-up sucks, so make sure that you have your follow-up tightened down. But listen, you should be getting excited. This is not something to be scared about. It's not something to be worried about. It's not something to be freaked out about. It's something to be excited about, to be juiced about. It is time that we are finally going to make a ton of money. If you're already making a lot of money, you're going to be off to the moon. And if you are, if you're making a nice living, it's time to get rich, right? It is really time to bump it up to the next, God, I hate that term, the next level. The next level, what the fuck does that even mean? No, it's really time to radically increase your market share, to radically increase your revenue, not only through the bad times by getting smarter, running leaner, figuring out new ways of generating the revenue, and by just I mean, just running your business tighter and better. But then when you come out of that, you got a nice, lean, tight, well managed business. And as the economy starts on the upswing again, it just explodes your revenue. I mean, I hate to use the Grant Cardone oft used 10x bullshit, but seriously, I mean, this is the kind of thing that happens. It is time to get excited. It's going to be a very excited 36 to 60 months. And as for me, you can bet your ass that I'm getting my piece of it. So, till tomorrow, we'll talk later. Cheers.